Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I have my rainbow hat on today. We are celebrating Pride Month here at Hacking Immigration Law. This is episode number 858 of the Immigration Answer Show. I got my friend Fatima here taking a little video. I've got TikTok going with Hina. We're going to have a couple that we helped represent this year that we're very excited to have on the show. I'll get to them in just a minute. I wanted to make sure you guys all see my crazy hat. It is Pride Month, and we love working with same-sex couples. We've done it for a really long time. I am very proud to say that I believe, I'm almost 100% sure that we filed the first same-sex case in the state of Missouri back when the Obergefell decision got struck down. It was really sort of funny. People who became good friends of ours, a U.S. citizen and his husband from Singapore, had come to see us about 8 months before the Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act. And they had asked about filing a same-sex marriage I-130 case. The marriages like that weren't legal yet in Missouri. They were doing civil unions in Iowa. Iowa was one of the first states to recognize same-sex couple unions. But I don't know they were calling them marriages yet. But in any event, when Kirk and Jordan came to see us, they were sad to find out from me that at that point, USCIS was still not allowing same-sex couples to get married. Now, this was, I think, in 2012, maybe 14, might have been 14, somewhere in that range. I should have looked it up before the show. And anyway, they came to see me. No, it must have been 2000. Well, when was Obama president? He was 08 to 16. Yeah, so it might have been 14. Anyway, they came to see me and I sent them home. Well, guess who the first people were to call me? Guess how I found out the Obergefell decision came down? Kirk, the U.S. citizen, called me right then and said, hey, the Supreme Court just struck down the Defense of Marriage Act. We want to come in this week and file. Jordan was here visiting from Singapore. We want to file for a marriage-based green card case. And I said, giddy up, let's do it. So we got that bad boy on file within 48 hours. And I remember that case. We were assigned to a immigration officer who was very, very Catholic. He was of Latino descent, and he was very uncomfortable being with the fellas in their green card interview. He had never probably thought that he would be handling any such interviews, but there he was. And that case went very, very smoothly. I do remember that he asked my foreign-born client if he'd ever worked as a prostitute, which I thought was funny because that's very rare back then that a green card applicant would be asked about that. So in any event, we've been getting green cards for same-sex couples, immigrant visas for same-sex couples. We really like working with same-sex couples. A lot of times they have a lot of disposable income sometimes, and they don't have kids, so the cases are a little more simpler. Sometimes they have kids, sometimes they don't. Almost to a person, they've always been very pleasant to deal with, and we've really enjoyed having that opportunity to represent people who love each other, because really that's what it's all about, is just representing people who love each other. All right, so Julian says, thank you, Julian. Marriage was being recognized for immigration purposes from 2013. So I was right, somewhere between 2012 and 2014, and it was 2013. And Julian referred to it as the Windsor decision. I refer to it as the Obergefell decision. Windsor's probably easier to remember. But when I was a kid, there was a third baseman for the Cardinals named Ken Oberkfell, Oberkfell instead of G. But anyway, that's how I always remember it. So I'm not going to wear my hat the whole show as much as Patton would probably like me to. Abbas is asking me, but Jim is Muslim. What does your religion say about same-sex marriage? Well, here's the thing. I put my religious beliefs to the side, and I believe God loves everybody. And I sure as hell am not going to discriminate against anyone based on who they love or care about. And I'm going to do everything I can because, as the sign says right there, I mean, our general core value number one is we fight for immigrants every day. But in this, I wanted to make this one today. We fight for every immigrant every day. We fight for every immigrant every day. So that's how it rolls. That's how we roll. I've had many Muslims send me mean emails, tell me I'm going to hell, tell me that they're going to hell, tell me all these things. And I've had non-Muslims tell me that too. So it's not just Muslims who tell me that, but I will be damn sure that I am never going to back away from a fight for anybody. Certainly not because of my religious beliefs. I believe that separation of church and state is really, really important. And I believe that there are certain inalienable rights. Certainly being with who you want to be is right at the top of the list. And as someone whose marriage might not have been recognized because my wife is of Egyptian descent and I am of white boy descent, that because I know how that marriage has resulted in such love and beauty and rewards, I would not be the person I am or have the life that I live if it weren't for my beautiful wife. And I will do anything I can to help anyone who wants to be with somebody else. And if that's all that I do between now and the rest of my life, I would be very, very happy. Very, very. Oh, Julian's schooling me. Thank you, Julian. Windsor dealt with federal recognition. Obergefell dealt with obligation of states to have marriage equality. So that's what it was. Julian's right. We couldn't get married in Missouri, even though the USCIS had started. That's what it was. USCIS had started recognizing same-sex petitions from states in which, that's what it was, because people would go to Iowa and get married. That's what it was. And so that was the deal. All right. Somebody said, I don't want to take up time, but my husband got his citizenship yesterday. Good job, Binam Malka Stinnett. That's good stuff. Good news. All right. So with that, I'm going to take off my silly hat. If anybody wants it, send me an email and I'll mail it to you. You can have my silly little hat. We'll fold it up and send it to you. I'm going to talk to Alex and Daniel. Hello, fellas.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing? Thanks for being here with me.
Good, thank you.
How's everything going?
Great, I guess.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about your story, about sort of how you met and then sort of your immigration journey?
Sure. So we originally met on Facebook, and after a couple months of chatting back and forth, I went ahead and flew to Lebanon and then went every 2 or 3 months for a week or two. And then after about a year, we decided we wanted to marry. So we had filed for the K1, K2 because he has a biological child.
I remember.
So we filed with a different attorney. The case was going nowhere. And at the time, it was month after month after month of no appointments available at the embassy. So ultimately, we had heard about hacking immigration on one of the immigration forums. And so we contacted y'all. You put everything together, filed the writ of mandamus. We got the K1, K2 approved within a week of the time. Yeah, so about a week from the time that it was approved. During COVID, I went ahead and flew to Beirut, picked them up, turned around the next day, came back, and then we were married here 9 days later. Then y'all handled the I-485, the I-751, and currently you're handling the N-400. And his his naturalization interview is coming up in the middle of July.
Oh, wow. That's great. Which attorney's handling the case?
We've had 3. I can't remember the name of the one that they just moved us to, but okay. In between it was Tim Randolph.
Okay, great.
And before that was the woman that did the I-485. I don't remember her name, because then there was a big gap in time before we were available or eligible to go from provisional green card to permanent green card.
And how did the embassy treat the fiance case? Once we filed the lawsuit, was it a long interview? Was it a short interview?
No, it was a short interview for K1 visa. It was like 10 minutes. And when I went back home, they put me in AP, administrative processing. It takes so long. So that's why we decided to hire a lawyer from here. It didn't work, so we discussed and Alex, he found your office. And when you filled the Damascus, it took like a week, and then they called me from the embassy and they said it's approved.
So no
because they had given, it took 3 or 4 months to get the appointment. We got the appointment. The person that did the interview was very nice and said,
Yeah.
we need one additional piece of paper. So what we had to do was contact another attorney in Lebanon to get that piece of paper. We had authorization from the court to allow my stepson, his son, to immigrate to the United States. But the language in the letter did not say immigrate and live indefinitely. So we had to go through getting that done in the court there. When we did it and submitted it, the person that he was dealing with at the embassy at that point was not polite. Insisted on speaking with the child's mother, even though we had all the stuff from the court where she said, yeah, it's fine. Then they'd say, send your passports. We'd send them, wait 3 or 4 weeks, get them back, nothing in them, no word. We'd send the passports when they'd say,
like 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times we did this. And one time they said, you have to send it today. It's about to expire. We said, look, you have it. Look in the file. You
Yeah,
have
it was
the passport.
A
And then
month
they sent the
before.
passports back with nothing in them again.
Oh,
It was a mess until we filed. So we ultimately got the interview. Then it fell into the AP black hole. And that was when we brought you guys on board.
got it.
And then once you went through all those statutory times that you go through with file it, wait 90 days, you know, they asked for a 30-day extension. During that 30-day extension, suddenly people started, you know, snapping along and approving everything.
That's so great. So how young or how old is your son?
It's 11 years old. In August, he will turn 12.
Great. So hopefully you'll become a citizen, and then he'll be all set. And then that's a great story. So what message do you have? I mean, obviously you guys went through and I remember it being stressful, and I'm sure you remember it being stressful. What advice do you have for all the people that are watching that are bummed out, sad, disheartened because their fiance case or their marriage-based green card case or their marriage-based immigrant visa case is taking so long? What advice do you have for people?
Well, my most important piece of advice is do whatever you have to do to make sure that you have a professional working for you. Second piece of advice, be very sure that you've got somebody that isn't just cranking clients through there, that's actually paying attention. Number 2, documentation. We have photo books. We have commingled finances. We have bought 2 houses here, 3 properties in another country. I mean, it is, you want to give them no possibility to doubt the validity of your relationship. If your relationship is real, regardless of how much or how little money you have, you can put it together. Both people's names need to be on the cars. Both people's names need to be on leases and deeds. Both people's names need to be on checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, all of that, and keep that proof.
That's all great advice. I was, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure people do. I was wondering a little bit more though about the heartache of being apart, the heartache, the emotional baggage and sadness that goes through all this stuff. What advice do you have for that?
It's really hard. It is incredibly frustrating because of where he was and because of where I was.
Yeah.
When we could talk on the phone, 4 o'clock in the morning for me.
Oh.
So you have to keep your eye on what the ultimate goal is. And if your relationship is real, and if you want to become one hand together, this is something that you may have to go through, but you can't let them beat you down, as difficult as it is. I mean, I still go through the notes from that time, and I get really angry.
Yeah.
Because I look at how much money all of this has cost, how much time it costs. And granted, we have a case full of what I've seen you refer to on some of your marriage shows. We have as many red flags as you could have. We have a substantial age difference. We have difference in religion. He was married before to a woman
Right.
in a relationship that resulted in a child.
Right.
But I was fortunately in a position where I was able to travel to Lebanon constantly, and then COVID hit. And that was the part that was so bad, because then I couldn't travel anymore.
But I advise people to don't wait, hire a lawyer, and sue the government, because it saves more time and let you to get together faster. So you don't need to be stressful. Just be relaxed and do what you have to do, and hand your file to a lawyer that he can follow your case, because we don't know how to do it. As a people, we don't have the experience. We are not lawyers. We don't know what to do. We don't know how the paper, how to do the paper in proper way. So the best thing that we did, we hired you, and it goes very fast. And even now, it didn't take long to have a green card interview, and now it took me like 28 days to receive an interview for N400. It didn't take so long.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, because you can apply 90 days before you are actually eligible. So we were eligible to apply for him in March. So we talked to you guys in January. Then in February, we started all the paperwork. So it was sitting in your office the day before you could Federal Express it in to turn it in.
Yeah.
Then that was 90 days before he was eligible. He received his notification for an appointment on the 91st day.
Wow.
So the first day he was eligible to get an appointment, he got an appointment for a month later.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad things are going faster on this end. Now, listen, I have one last question for you guys, okay? It's a two-part question. As you went through the whole process, what was the darkest moment that you were the most worried about it not working? And then conversely, what was it like when Daniel actually had his visa to come to the United States? What did those two feelings feel like?
What was the worst one for you?
The K1 visa?
During the K1, K2 process.
As a gay person, it worried me, because I didn't want to be announced yet, because part of my family didn't know, and especially I have my son, and in my country it's not allowed a gay person to take his son. Means his mom could take him away from me very easy.
Yeah.
So that was so scary, but it works. The embassy didn't talk about it with his mom. I guess they talked to his mom, but because I told them, they asked me if his mom knows. I said no. They said, don't worry, we won't do it. But I was still frightened and scared about it. But we moved, and she still doesn't know.
So she may assume that you're married to a woman now in the United States.
Yes, that's what, because they asked, my sister, she's friends with her mom. So they asked questions. But she think my sister told her because I told my sister I'm married to a woman. I can't say that. Otherwise, when I go to Lebanon, she will take him away from me at the airport. So she assumed, yeah, that I'm married to a woman.
Wow. And then what did it feel like, Daniel, when you found out you're actually going to be able to come for you and your son to both have your visas? What did that feel like? And then what did it feel like
Freedom.
on the
I
flight?
was so happy. I cried. I had a happy tears, and it was exciting and relief. A lot of too much relief that I will have my freedom. I will live my normal life the way I wanted, and I was so uh, like a big stone in my back, and it's gone.
Mm.
And here everybody treat me well at the immigration and at the airport. Whenever I travel, they treat us very good. They are wonderful. And here I live my normal life the way I wanted with my husband and my son, and I can say I'm gay, and nobody look at me in the wrong way or say that I'm a bad person. No matter what religion they are happy with me, and I live. And my son, he is very happy to say that I have two dads. He's very excited to tell his friends, come and meet I have two dads, and he's very proud of us. And that's a very big relief. It's make me like myself. It make me feel that's me. I this is my life. I can't change it. I can't pretend something else, and I can have my freedom here. My freedom is not like to be over, like being over some other gays, but I live my normal life as a couple, as a husband, as a dad, and everybody knows. I don't hide anymore.
That was beautiful what you just shared. It makes the work that we do here very, very important to me. I mean, this is why we do exactly what we do, because you and your husband and your son are getting to live the life that you want. And that's what I love. I love it. I love that that's what we do. I'm glad we were able to help you. And I thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much.
We're very happy to do it.
And we appreciate all the work that you do for us. You give us relief. And we
Awesome.
trust you guys. I trust your group. And thank
Awesome.
you so much.
You got it. Well, good luck with citizenship. Keep us posted, okay? I'll find out for sure. Thanks,
Sure.
guys.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Have a good one. See you. Bye.
Oh man, I was getting teary-eyed on that. That was a very nice share from Daniel. That there are people in my life who've tried to keep me from being the way I wanted to be too. You know, when you get molested by a priest and it sends you off on this trajectory, and you don't know where you're going to end up, and you don't know if you're going to fall in love, and you don't know if you're going to get to be with someone who makes your life special. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Like, why have a fucking law degree if you're not going to do something like that? Like, why not build something to help people and ease their suffering and make them happy and help them be who they want to be? I'm proud of them and proud of us, and proud of the work that we did. Wow, I didn't think I was going to get that emotional. Thanks, guys. That was great. All right. Let's go back to bitching about Trump, shall we? I mean, we can always do that, right? Hey, I have a proposal for you guys. I want to know what you guys think. I am thinking that in about 2 weeks that we start announcing the shows that we're going to do like a week ahead of time, right? So like on Friday, we would have some place where you could find out when the shows are. Like we would actually schedule them ahead of time. I still might do a pop-up show every now and then. But for the most part, we would say, hey, we're going to do a show Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. It might change week to week, but we would give you notice. I think it might get rid of the need for sending out the text. I don't know. Do you guys like getting the text? Is it helpful to get the text? If we had it scheduled, would it still be helpful to get the text? So we'll put that to the side. We'll keep texting in the interim, but I'm thinking Friday we announce the next week's shows, and I'm also thinking that I would probably do less shows, but the shows would be an hour and a half instead of an hour. So I'm thinking I'm trying to, believe it or not, I'm trying to actually stick to a schedule, if you can believe that. As much as of a free spirit as I am, and as hard as it is for me to stick to a plan, but generally we would commit to doing the 3 shows. We would do 3 shows a week, and we would announce them ahead of time, and the shows would be 90 minutes. Okay, people like the text. Okay, we'll keep that going. I mean, there's a cost to that. I don't know I don't know how much we spend a month on texting, but I bet it's probably $2,000. But okay, people like the text, and people like the pride flags. Thank you, out of office. And then an hour and a half show, because it seems like the show is really getting going at around the hour mark, right? And also, I don't know about you guys, I think the later the show is, the better the show is. Like, I might be trying to do them like at 4 or 5 more often. I think we get more of the West Coast people. I also think the night shows are nuts. Like, there's craziness on the later shows. I mean, the other day we did a show, I think it started at 5, and it was, every case was nutso. Yeah, I don't know, Dammy, we'll figure out how much it costs. It's not a big deal, but see, when I started doing it and I really needed people to be in the waiting room, that's sort of why we did it. And we thought that we would use the text to text people about other stuff, like, hey, we're having a sale on naturalization. Not that we do that, but you know what I mean? Like, I thought we would use the numbers for something else. We haven't really. No, I said 2,000 because it's 3 cents a text. So let's figure it out. Somebody do the math. I'm going to throw it out. Ready? It's 3 cents a text. When we send out a text for one show, that's 2,000 people that get it right now. 2,000 people get the text. And yeah, thanks. Dammy says we could use the community tab. That's true too. We could post it there for sure. So it's 3 cents a text, 2,000 people, and we probably do 4 shows a week. So that's, say, 16 shows a week. So I don't know how much that is. So, yeah, $40 for 2,000 credits. I don't know. It's sort of like they treat it over there like the damn carnival, like you spend $7, you get 23 tickets, and then a ride costs 9 tickets. Like, it's really sort of hard to figure it out. Somebody figure it out for me. I don't know. If it's not that much, we'll keep doing it. And I'm happy to do it. I don't really mind. All right. So we're going to get started with the show. Maybe we'll go a little bit long. Oh, no, I have to go to the airport. I wasn't going to go long, but I have to go to the airport to pick up ARH. She's on her way back from Atlanta. ATL. ARH is coming back from the ATL. So let's try and do them quick. Burger and Fries, summer 2025, asking for a friend. Burger and Fries, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I like your name. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I love burgers and fries. Okay, spoiler alert. No lawyers have been helped me yet in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
Give you a quick history of mine. In 2019, I was an international student in Istanbul, Turkey. I applied for B1, B2, got rejected. I continued my education. In 2022, I applied for J1 work and travel. I got approved in Egypt. I'm Egyptian. February 2023. Well, of course, after my first J1, I went back to Turkey to finish my bachelor's degree in physical therapy. February 2023, I applied again for B1, B2 in Egypt, got rejected. April 2023, applied for J1 in Egypt, got approved as an international student from Egypt. No lawyers. And before my visa expires in 2023, that was around, I believe, September, I applied for asylum, and it's still pending at the moment. I received my EAD, advanced parole, but never traveled. and have my social security since 2022, since my first J1 as a work and travel student. So now, currently I'm working on my doctorate degree, but never filed any anything regarding my doctorate, and I'm about to be done. I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I've just got engaged about 2 weeks ago, and my family and their family planning the wedding. Not right now. It's around October 2026, because wedding venues and stuff, it takes a lot to schedule. So I need to do the adjustment of status, but I don't know when. What do you think the best time to do so? Should I do it, within 6 months?
Why do you fear going back home?
It's the persecution of how do you call it? Fear of persecution. It's just issues.
Based on what?
The politics and stuff.
Politics and stuff. What does that mean?
It's regarding I used to go to such what do you call it, when you go and do rallies and stuff, and got caught. My name was on file, but from a year to two, we had solved the issue, but at the same time we had to pay some bribes, and I had the chance to come to Egypt probably once or twice a year during being an international student in Istanbul. But
you understand that hurts your case. That hurts your asylum case. The fact that you went back to Egypt from Turkey actually hurts your asylum case.
Yeah, but 2023, the last time I was in Egypt, at the airport, I had some issues. And
what issues?
In the Egyptian government, at the airport, they not detained me, but there were a lot of problems. They put me in a room, interrogation, but by phone calls, I got it done, and I hopped on a plane and went to Turkey.
Okay. So just to be clear, when you came for work and travel, were you subject to Rule 212E, or were you not subject to Rule 212?
No, not subject to 2 years. I'm not subject to that for the first and second time. It says on a visa as well, I believe.
And now you're marrying a U.S. citizen?
Not yet. I'm still. I've just got engaged 2 weeks ago.
Right, but what I mean is, what we're talking about now is a marriage-based case.
Yes.
Sort of, the asylum case will go to the side while you focus on the marriage case.
Yes, correct.
The fiance is a U.S. citizen?
Indeed, yes.
And you've known each other for how long?
Since December 2024.
So like 6 months.
Yeah.
How did you meet?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. How did you meet?
We met at probably you know this. Do you know Cybergs?
Sure.
Yeah. We met at Cybergs. It was a music live show, and that was like around 8 p.m. It was at the time that I'm gonna leave the show, and then we went on a first date.
Have either of you been married before?
No.
Is there an age gap before?
No, I'm 26 and she's 24.
The marriage that you're talking about, is that going to happen in the United States or in Egypt?
No, here.
Okay. And so your family will come over, presumably?
I'm trying to apply for visas right now, but hopefully they will get approved.
Yeah, they might not. Since you applied for asylum, they might not. Okay. So what's your question for me? I feel like I got a handle on the scenario. What are the questions for me?
I'm considering getting the license the marriage license within 6 months from now. But the wedding, because we've been visiting wedding venues around St. Louis, and the wait time is probably October 2026, the wedding time. And her family is huge, around 300 plus people coming to the wedding. So
what if you did a courthouse wedding and with the idea that you're going to have a bigger wedding later?
I don't know. I have to talk to her about this and
Yeah.
talk to her family. And so
I mean,
when
an October 2026 wedding doesn't do you much good immigration wise because she can't file anything for you until you're actually legally married.
yeah. So you think the best time is to get married within 6 months, get the courthouse wedding? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the best thing is. I mean, I think there's an interesting argument to ask or question to ask, which is if there weren't immigration issues involved, when would you get married, and just sort of do it like that? But, it depends. If you wait to get married and your asylum case gets denied and you get sent to the immigration court, then you're going to have a harder job getting your marriage case approved. So
I was pondering about that by myself. Yeah.
I think getting married 6 months after you meet is its own red flag, right? So I think maybe I'd be shooting for a legal marriage maybe in January or December, and then filing, and then letting the wedding part, sort of the big party, you guys just do that whenever you feel like.
Yeah, that would be October, her ideal month, and her mother, they like October for some reason. So
Yeah.
October 2020, that's where from now we're trying to, reserve a venue.
All right. Well, did you have any other questions for me?
No. Oh, yes. Last thing. This is part of anything. I have a dear friend of mine. He speaks English not that well, but he has an interview within a month at some field office, and he just called me yesterday and asked if I can become a translator for him.
Nope, don't do that.
No?
Nope. You should
Okay.
go anywhere near USCIS with a pending asylum case.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Summer 2025. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Jim, for whatever you're doing for the community around the world.
Sure.
Thank you. I have a question from you today. I ever have been married with the American green card holders and get divorced after a few months and then married again for the second time. While I married with the second times, I'm out of status until today because she's also a green card holder.
Time out. Where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan.
When did you come to the United States?
2021.
What kind of a visa did you have when you came to the United States from Pakistan in 2021?
B1B2. B1.
When you went to the embassy.
B1B2.
Yep. When you went to the embassy to request your B1, B2 visa, at that time, were you married or single?
I was married, yeah.
And so was that your first marriage?
Yes.
Okay. And so they gave you a visit visa. What was the purpose of your trip?
Holiday sightseeing.
And did you, in fact, do holiday and sightseeing when you came to the United States?
Yes.
Who picked you up from the airport when you arrived in the United States on your B1, B2?
Myself, nobody's, because I don't know nobody yet.
And where did you go sightseeing?
I went to Florida, Miami. I went to Los Angeles, Las Vegas.
When you bought your ticket to the United States, how long was your return flight? How much time were you planning on being here?
30 days, 1 month.
And when did you cancel that flight?
I canceled that flight after 6 months.
Why didn't you go back on time?
Because I have in touch with one of the girl who I know as a friendship for a few years.
Okay. Is that the person who became wife number 2?
First one.
No, first one was in Pakistan.
No. I mean, the Pakistan is not. I'm talking about here in the New York.
But I'm counting all of your marriages. So you have one marriage in Pakistan. Don't keep ignoring that. That's the second time you've acted like there wasn't like this was your first marriage. So marriage number 1 was to lady in Pakistan.
Yes.
How long after you arrived was it before you face-to-face saw the person who became wife number 2?
It's up to 6 months.
So it was at the end of your visit or after your visit had overstayed?
It's already at the end of the visit, but still I have a visa valid.
How did you meet that person?
I know her from one of the country in Asia.
So you knew her before you came to the United States?
Yeah, I know. I have a friendship with her before.
A friendship? What kind of friendship? What does that mean?
Just regular friendship. She was my friends.
Was your plan all along to come to the United States and get married to her?
No. We wasn't friends before she even in the United States, and I was also in the United States.
Right.
She's from a different country, a different country.
But USCIS is going to think your whole planned trip was to come see her, right?
No, I don't think so, because I didn't tell them that I'm going to see someone in America.
No, but now, okay. Next question. When did you divorce your wife in Pakistan?
The day before I leave from America. From Pakistan.
Jesus Christ. So you're telling me the day before you get on the plane, you filed for divorce?
Already divorced for last 48 days before I departure.
So when you went to the embassy, how much time between when you went to the embassy to get the visa and when was the time that you actually left the United States? How much time was that?
Oh, it's around 1 year.
Okay, so how long after you got your visa did you apply for divorce?
I got a visa every 5 years once. This is not my first time to come to America. I've been here for more than 20 years. Go back, like visit visas.
So when you got on the plane to the United States, the divorce from the lady in Pakistan was final, right?
Yes, I have in my hand the time, like in the paperwork. Yeah, legally.
All right. So then you marry wife number 2, right?
Yeah.
And she applies for a green card for you. Is that what you said?
Yes, she applied already.
And did you get that green card?
No, after I got the only work authorization card and Social Security, and then it's got divorce.
Why did you get divorced?
Because she asked me to give me this certain amount, this amount, and this amount, demanding me always the money.
She wanted cash money to continue being your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
She demanding a lot of cash from me always.
Who filed for divorce, you or her?
She.
And did she formally withdraw the I-130 petition?
Yes.
Okay. And then you, I guess the reason you're calling is because you got married again?
Yes, because I already was staged after that marriage, withdrawn the case from the immigration, right?
So now we're on wife number 3.
Yeah.
And wife number 3 filed an I-130 petition for you?
No, she's a green card holder.
So you're just here out of status with nothing?
Yes, I'm out of status. Even we married the second time here in America, I'm out of status. And she
How long has she had her green card?
More than 4 years.
How did she get her green card?
Asylum.
And is she from Pakistan?
No, she's from Russia.
Okay. And when is she eligible to apply for citizenship?
January 10, 2026.
Got it. That's the 90 days?
From now, she's coming January, she's eligible to apply for citizenship.
Well, that's the 5-year anniversary of her green card, or that's the 4 years and 9 months when she can apply?
4 years and 9 months she can apply, yeah.
Okay. So what's your question for me?
My question is, I have a daughter and 1 son. My son is living in England. My daughter is living in Pakistan. And she's doing her master's degree in Pakistan. My question is that I'm out of status. If she apply for visit visa to come to America, it is a good idea.
No, it's a terrible idea. No, her father's out of status. Her father overstayed a visa. They're never going to give her a visit visa. And she's going to tell them that you're still in the United States.
But her passport full of the visa for worldwide countries, the visas excluding Pakistan. Even she been to Canada, Australia, Europe countries.
Are you living in any of those countries out of status?
Never.
Right. So who cares if she's been to those countries? What I'm saying is if she fills out a DS-160, they're going to say, who's your dad? My dad is summer 2025. Where's summer 2025? Oh, he's living in Philly. He's just chilling over in America. You mean he never came back from his visit visa? Why should we give you a visit visa when your dad doesn't follow the rules? There's no way in hell we're going to do that. Oh, and by the way, let's call ICE and tell them that summer 2025 is chilling at this address in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I assume the reason you're not filing the I-130 right now with your wife as a green card holder is because you're just holding out until she becomes a citizen. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think you got a tough case, brother. You're on marriage number 3. They're going to think you're just doing something to. I mean, do you think that wife number 2 wrote a letter to USCIS saying that you're a bad dude?
I think so. Because she asked me money, I don't give the money. So
yeah. So I think you're in big trouble. I don't know if you're going to get a green card.
Right.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Anybody who is thinking about applying for an immigration benefit, you should listen to every question I just asked him. I just pretty much did all of my questions. You see how I sort of went through it chronologically and I just sort of picked it all apart. That's what's happening now at USCIS. That's what you have to be ready for. That's the kind of scrutiny that we're seeing on cases right now. Right? So I think the chances of that man getting a green card are very, very low. Very low. But that's what's going to happen. That's what's happening in interviews now. They're looking under every nook and cranny for some kind of inconsistency. So get ready for it. Okay. I know Hina's been doing some TikTok stuff for me. All right, let's do it. We got a lot. Jay, can the beneficiary's fertility tests, appointments, and surgery docs serve as marriage evidence? They sure can, Jay. That's really good evidence. Yes, I just got my 6 steps approved. How long for interview now for Dominican Republic? I assume what you're saying is you got documentally qualified and now you're waiting for an interview. I believe DR is about a year. Mo, I did my interview. It said approved next day for I-130. 45 still pending today. They want a new medical exam. Normal? Sure. If they just changed the rules on medical exams, so make sure that yours is compliant. No Magugu. I went for I think someone just wanted me to say that. I went for an interview. My I-130 was approved after a week, but my I-45 is still pending. Why is the I-45 still pending? We're seeing this a lot. USCIS is trying to act like they're moving on your case. Of course, nothing matters till you actually have the green card. So we're seeing case after case with interviews and no 45 approval notices. It's really becoming a big deal. Kevin, what are the options if I have an immigration hearing coming up in August and I'm afraid of ICE? You might want to take voluntary departure, Kevin. I don't know. But really, that's it. Go to court or take an order of deportation. How about this? Fabio, Mr. Jim, we did it. I listened to you a lot before going abroad, back now with a 10-year green card. Good job, Fabio. I hope it went well. It sounds like it did. Patrick says, my wife had a petition approved by immigration, the I-130, and she left the country. Will she be able to come back? Well, she might have an overstay. So that's one of the things when people have an I-130 here and then they go overseas. If they were out of stat, if all they had was the I-130, they could have been accruing unlawful presence. So that could be a mess, Patrick. Hector, do I need to get divorced before I revoke my I-130 due to fraud? Well, I don't think individuals can revoke an I-130. I think you mean withdraw an I-130. And you don't need to give a reason to withdraw your I-130. Only USCIS can revoke an approved I-130. Now, if there's an I-130 that's been approved, you could still withdraw it, but you don't need to worry about revocation. That's something for the government to do, not for you. Hussein, the immigration officer mentioned that I have 2 alien numbers, but I've never been to the U.S. What do I need to do? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know what the answer is. I think it would depend on what you're applying for, Hussein. EB1 visa. Did Melania Trump misrepresent herself? Can her citizenship be taken away? Please make a video. I would do that, Barrow. I think both Melania and Elon have serious questions about their citizenship, but we made a decision a long time ago not to mess with anybody's immigration status, no matter how much we hate them, including white supremacists from South Africa. So we just don't do that. Ashraf, I've been a green card holder for 10 years and I'm Egyptian and I'm out of the state since 2020. What can I do? Well, you probably don't have a Yeah, I would agree, Hina, summer for the pod. I have a green card, 10 years, and I'm Egyptian and I'm out of out of the state since 2020. Well, if I were you, I think your only shot, Ashraf, is to try to come back on the green card and see what happens and then stay here. Dash, but you have to be ready to get sent back home. My N400 app says decision in approximately 1 week. No interview scheduled yet. Is that reliable? No, it's not. Don't believe the app. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the app. All right. I-601A approved finally. Hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. So I got notification maybe 30 minutes ago that our waiver was approved.
Nice.
And so now I'm just focused on how to prepare my husband for his interview in Guatemala City, whenever that happens.
What was the waiver for? Just an overstay and an entry?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the big thing for me is there's two things if I was sending a spouse overseas for a 601A waiver or any kind of immigrant visa after a waiver has been granted. So the thing about 601As, and I think that I have a video about this, but the thing about 601As is they're great because, as you know, you get to find out before you leave whether or not you've been provisionally approved. And that's the thing. It's a provisional approval, right? So the thing about the waiver is that USCIS or that the embassy can still revisit the granting of said waiver. Now, usually they just sort of go along with it. But if I had a spouse going overseas after a 601A approval, I would be focused on a couple of things. Number one, let's make sure that we only have one entry, right? That we don't have multiple entries without inspection. That's a big one. Number two, we want to make sure that the person never made a false claim to U.S. citizenship. So if people are here for a really long time out of status, sometimes they apply for work, sometimes they apply for loans, and they say they're a U.S. citizen. That's something that the embassies like to trick people with. And then the third one would be any of the other reasons that people need the regular 601 waivers. So does the person have any kind of criminal matter that might keep them from being able to come, that might make them inadmissible? Are there any other inadmissibility problems that are not covered by the 601A waiver? I've seen many, many people leave the United States. This isn't something I want you to actively worry about. You asked, so I'm laying it out there. I've seen many, many people get a 601A approved, go back home, usually to Juarez, not Guatemala, and then they get screwed around with at the embassy saying, "Oh, you need a true 601 waiver, and you have to start all over, and you have to wait here in the home country while you wait 4 years or 3 years for USCIS to adjudicate the 601 waiver."
Yeah, that's what I thought you might say. Yeah, I mean, so far we don't have any concerns. So we started this process in 2021 when we filed the L-130. So the waiver took 25 months to get approved.
That was my next question. And did you use a lawyer? Or did you do it on your own?
I did it all myself.
Good job. Congratulations. That's great. That's a hard standard to win. I'm glad you pulled it off. Good luck and keep us posted, okay?
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call. All right. Hi, I have a signing meeting with your office. Can you tell me how to get an affidavit notarized in the UK? If I had my phone, I'd ask ChatGPT. I'm not sure. That's something that should be knowable. I would assume most banks or lawyers. I know there's lots of lawyers and whatnot in England. I'm sure there's lots of people who can notarize things. Hina says you can go to the embassy in London, U.S. embassy, the UK embassy, the U.S. embassy, I think is what she means, in the UK, or a bank. Yeah, I think that's right. All right, let's go to Lyrical. Hello. Lyrical.
Hi, how are you? Hi,
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I've been here for like,
Usually when I say I'm blessed, that means I'm mad.
oh no.
Because I say it sort of sarcastically. I'm blessed, like, yeah, I'm blessed, but that's because I'm trying not to cuss or say something bad.
Oh, okay, okay.
What's
How
up?
is your? Oh, Charlie, cool. I've been here like every day. I try to join, but like I will join on when you start the live and then it will disconnect. But today, like God, it has happened.
Awesome. What's up?
Yeah, I went for my I-130 and I-45 interview on the 5th of June, and my case was like it came so quick. Or we filed in the application on the 7th of February, and on the 17th of February, I got my biometrics, and I went in a week, um, a month later. Then I got my work permit. And then when I got my work permit, I was sitting there waiting for like USCIS to mail me my social security. And someone told me, no, you have to go to the social security office to apply it. So I went there, and then they scheduled me for like a month to come. And then March, the day I went in for my social security to put in my application, I got my interview letter. And as at that time too, my husband traveled back to our home country. And I got on the that was on the 1st of May that I got my interview letter, and then the interview was on the 5th of June. So he has to come back because of the interview. So we went in for the interview. Everything went well, but like he skipped some questions because he has like he's he works at the hospital, and then he has other jobs too. And then he like kind of trade like salvage cars. So when I went in, and then the officer asked me what kind of job he does, I said he had a job, and then that he works like 4 times a day, so 4 times a week, and then he had other businesses too that he does. But when he went in, because they separated us, it was a stroke interview. When he went in and they asked him, he said he had only one job. And then he had a child, which I know of. That child comes to visit us like every time. But he had another one, which I did not know of. He didn't tell me that he had another child. So he put the child on the tax. And when he filed for the tax, I kept asking him, like, how much did you make? And this, like, to know, because we have an interview coming. So he was just like not talking about it. And I just didn't think it was something I needed to like be proven further. So like an hour before the interview, that he told me like, I have another child.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, were you inside the USCIS building or outside the USCIS building?
No, when we were going, like his 2024 tax return, we got to that place, and they were looking for a place to like print his tax return because he didn't print it. And then that was when he printed the tax return, the child's name was on this, and then that was when he brought it up that I have another child, and I'm like, from where? So and then he told me like, so because of that, it was just some
Wait,
minutes
hold
before.
on. Time out. From where? What did he say in the answer to from where?
Like he was just like he knew I was upset, but he he was just quiet. And I'm like, how can a child just pop up at the last
How old is this kid?
She's 1 year.
So she's younger than the one you knew about.
Yeah, the one I knew about is 6 years, and then the younger one is the pop-up baby.
And wait,
Just
are you the U.S. citizen or is he the U.S. citizen?
he is.
He's the U.S. citizen. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the kicker. So this
Mhm.
kid is 1 year old, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they 12 months? Are they 14 months? Are they 18 months? What are they? Do you know?
Like I think they just celebrated her birthday like I think a couple of months ago. Like I'll say like 13, 14 months
Okay.
thereabout.
And when did your relationship with this person that you're married to begin?
Like we met in 2024, January 2024, and then we got married in October 2024. So like barely, like the time he met me, he was expecting a baby, or he had a baby, but he didn't tell me.
That you didn't know anything about.
Yeah, that I didn't know anything about.
And most importantly, let's think about this. Most importantly, this was a child that would not have been listed on anybody's immigration forms, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So on the forms for the IRS, he lists 2 children. On the paperwork with you at USCIS, he only lists 1.
Yeah, no, the other child, it looks like they're from the same woman, so they decided that I'll claim one and you claim one. So the older one is being claimed by the baby's mother, and then the second one, which is the new one, he claimed that baby. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah. So if this kid is 13 months, so that means they were born in like April or May of 2024, which
Exactly.
means they would have been conceived somewhere in June or July or August of 2023.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was before you knew them, right?
Yeah. That was before I knew him.
Well, I'll just say this. It's better that he told you the hour before your interview than if you found out about it at the interview, which could have actually happened.
Yeah. Because when they asked me the baby's name, like I said it right, but I just said it in a short way because he mentioned it when I looked at the paper. I saw the name just pass by, but I was upset and I just was trying not to just mess up this interview. So I saw, and when he asked, and then I said it, but later, like it was the same name, but I said it in a short way. And
Okay.
then one thing too, I called is like I was also married. I've been married before, and then I got divorced. We were separated before I went in for my interview, like my visa interview, and then when I put in as at the time, like in my country, there was no date for the visas. This is so when you schedule, it gives you like a longer date. So I was separated at then. After I put in my application, before I got there, we went separated. And then, but when I was putting in the application, I stated I'm married. And when I went in for the interview for my visa, they didn't ask me my marital status, so I didn't also said anything because as at that time, like my husband already filed for divorce. So and after I got my visa in February, and then in March, my husband filed for divorce, and the divorce was finalized in after I left the country, which was in November,
And what country is it?
Ghana.
Okay.
So, and so she kept in the interview she didn't even ask much about my current husband, but like the interview was centered about my ex, like my former wife, this in marriage. So she kept asking like, and I missed it because when the marriage we got divorced, like when he filed the divorce, it was in the March, and then a day before, like 2 weeks before I left the country, that he told me that he already filed for divorce. But I didn't know. So when he told me he already filed for divorce and he was somebody that I was also financially dependent on, and I was like, okay. So, but the divorce was finalized in November. But accidentally, when they asked me, I said March. But if the divorce was in November. But when the officer asked me, I accidentally, like, I forgot and I said it was in March.
Okay. So what's the question for me?
So, like, right now, I haven't gotten nothing, no notification from them that saying like your case has been this or that. And besides, like the officer that interviewed her, she was so nice. Like she, after the interview, she was like, "Oh, if we need anything from you, we'll let you know. We'll mail you. But if you don't need anything, I
Yeah.
will."
Do you know why she was nice? Because she knew she had you. What
Oh,
what so did you have an attorney at your interview?
no, 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 no. Like my husband did everything by himself. He
When
filed every.
you and your husband compared notes about how you did on the Stokes questions, what did they match a lot or did they not match a lot?
No, after that, she didn't let us see the questions.
No, I'm saying when you two were in the car on your way home and you talked about it, what kind of a score did, if I said 0 is not much matching at all and 10 is everything matched, what score would you give?
I think I would say it was 8/10 or 80% because the only question he missed was like he didn't remember my ex-husband's name, and then his baby sorry, his job, he has another side hustle which he didn't
Yeah.
mention it. They asked him and then he didn't mention it.
Yeah.
So that was the only things that he did not remember on
Okay.
this thing that
When
we
you
mismatched.
when you married him, were you out of status?
Yeah, I was out of status.
Yeah, so I have someone who has a very shaky marriage history before leaving Ghana. I have someone who did the topic of baby number 2 come up at all?
No, she asked if they were the same mother, and I was like, I was honest with her. I told her like, that particular child, I did not know about her. It pop up. I didn't know. I didn't let her know the time the thing pop up. I didn't let her know. I just was like, it pop up. Like when we met, he didn't tell me he had a child, but later he came to tell me he had a child, and I was upset about it. So we fought about it. So I didn't really talk about it. But I knew the child is like.
Did you tell her that it was just that day that he told you?
No. I
Wait,
told her like.
did you bring that up without her asking?
No, I told her like. The child was like, I didn't tell her, it came the day before the like when we were coming to the interview. I just told her like the child, when I met my husband, I wasn't aware about this in the kid, but later that it came up. But we didn't really talk about it because it brought fights, and then we argued over it, and then I just let it go, knowing that there would be a time that we're going to talk about it. And she asked me, are they the same mother? And I'm like, no. But he said they are the same mother. Because the way it happened, I didn't know. Because I knew probably there could be different mothers. That's why he kept it away from me. So that's why I say no. And then
Okay.
he asked of the age, and I told the age what he said is the same as what I said.
Okay, I got to get going. My wife just landed at the airport. I got to go pick her up. Do you have a question for me real quick? Because I think this case is in big trouble.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, big trouble. You have marriage problems on the front end, out of status when you got married. Ghana and Nigeria, they're always under scrutiny for fraud. You admitted that there was a child that your husband didn't tell you about. He's had 2 children with one lady, one within the last year, and at the time that you were dating. I mean, was he there when the child was born?
Like when he had a baby.
Yeah, when she had baby number 2, was he there in the hospital?
Yeah, I think he was there. He's kind of involved in their life, but he just kept it away because he felt when he told me, I would think, oh, if you are expecting a baby, then you should be with your baby mother then rather than being with me. So he just kept it away. He didn't.
Yeah, I think this case is in big trouble.
So what can I do to salvage it?
I don't know. The facts are the facts. I think you got to wait and see what happens.
Because my divorce, everything is genuine, everything it's on paper.
They're going to think that his real relationship is with that lady and that you paid him to get a green card. That's what they're going to think. They're going to think he's having this life with this other woman, having kids, and he's just helping this lady get her papers. I got to go. I'm sorry.
So do I have to come back tomorrow and hear?
You can if you want, but that's all. I mean, that's what I think. Was there something else you wanted from me? There's nothing to do. It's a shitty case. It's a bad case. It's messy as hell.
Okay.
And you went without a lawyer. And you have a husband who told you 1 hour before your interview that he had another kid. I mean, because
if that baby was not in the picture, if that baby had not come on in the picture, I'm sure we would have been okay.
No, I think you still had problems. You had problems that they were already focused on the marriage. You said she spent most of her time talking about the marriage to the guy back in Ghana. So that was already on their radar. Now we got another screwy marriage on the back end.
Oh, okay. Then they should let us know our decision, and because I'm already married to this person, which I can't divorce him right now, regardless of what the outcome is. I can't just be going marrying one man after the other. So they should just let us know what is happening.
They will. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Wow, okay, well, we started with a bang, ended with a bang. Have a great day, everybody. I'm off to the airport. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, thanks, Ina. 3 o'clock tomorrow. 3 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be back. Have a good night. One love. And have a good night, everybody. See ya. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. I mean,